They told her, "This place isn't for your kind." The words cut through the grand lobby of the Starlight Pinnacle Hotel like glass shattering on marble, silencing everyone within earshot. Before we dive into this unbelievable story, tell me where you're watching from. Hit the like button if you believe dignity matters, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss these powerful real-life dramas. Now, let's begin. It was 4:15 p.m. on September 11th, when Maya Johnson walked through the revolving glass doors of the Starlight Pinnacle Hotel in downtown Chicago. She looked nothing like the typical presidential suite guest. No designer heels, no diamond jewelry, no personal driver trailing behind her. Instead, she wore a faded navy hoodie, black leggings, and scuffed sneakers. But Maya wasn't there to impress anyone. She was there for business. And no one in that luxurious lobby knew that within minutes. Their lives were about to change forever. Behind the front desk stood Marcus Reynolds, the 50-year-old hotel manager, flanked by two reception clerks, Emily Carter and Liam Nguyen. Their polite smiles vanished the moment Maya approached. Marcus leaned forward, placing both hands firmly on the gold-trimmed counter, his tone sharp and laced with quiet arrogance. "Ma'am, are you lost? This area is for presidential suite guests only." Maya remained composed, her voice calm but steady. "I'm here to check in. Johnson. Maya Johnson. Presidential suite." She slid her sleek black titanium credit card across the counter, its polished surface reflecting the soft glow of the crystal chandeliers above. Marcus didn't touch it. Instead, he smirked and raised an eyebrow as if she had just told the most ridiculous lie. Emily whispered something into Liam's ear, and both chuckled softly. Then Marcus delivered the words that would ignite a firestorm across the country. "Let me save you some embarrassment. This place isn't for your kind." The statement hit the air like a slap. Conversation stopped mid-sentence. A couple in line turned to stare. A businesswoman waiting for her car froze with her phone halfway to her ear, and in that heavy silence, two young guests, Ava Thompson and her friend Noah Brooks, exchanged looks, pulled out their phones, and started recording. "This is going live," Ava whispered, her voice shaking with outrage, and with a single tap, a live stream began broadcasting the confrontation to hundreds of viewers within seconds. Maya drew a deep breath, her composure like steel forged over years of surviving worse. "Are you denying me check-in for the suite I reserved?" she asked, her voice calm but edged with authority. Marcus leaned closer, lowering his tone but not his arrogance. "You booked the wrong place. The presidential suite here is $12,000 a night. Guests here come highly recommended. I'll need to confirm this with security." Ava's camera caught everything. The condescending tilt of Marcus's head, Emily's subtle eye roll, and Liam's quiet laugh as he muttered, "No way she can afford this." Comments poured into the live stream instantly. "Is this really happening in 2024? Name the hotel. We're canceling our bookings. Someone's losing their job today." Maya stayed silent. But inside, memories came flooding back. At 19, she had once been forced to sleep in her car after a Miami hotel refused to let her in. At 16, she had been told a pool was members only while others swam freely. At 29, in Los Angeles, she was ordered to use the service entrance while white guests walked confidently through the front lobby. Every insult, every humiliation. She remembered them all, but today was different. Today, she wasn't powerless. She reached for her phone and dialed Jordan Hayes, her executive assistant. "Jordan," she said softly, her voice steady but tight. "It's happening again. Prepare the file." Jordan's voice came back sharp, focused, efficient, understood. "Maya, give me 5 minutes. Everything will be ready." As Maya ended the call, Marcus slammed his palm on the counter, startling Emily. "Ma'am, this is your last warning. Leave this lobby now, or I'll have you escorted out. This isn't the place for people like you," before Maya could respond. A hesitant voice spoke up. Sofia Alvarez, a 22-year-old concierge standing off to the side, took a deep breath and stepped forward. "Excuse me, Marcus," she said carefully, "but her reservation is valid. The system flagged it VIP, presidential suite, today, 3 nights." Marcus turned sharply, his glare cutting through her bravery like a blade. "Stay out of this. Sofia, you don't know what you're talking about." But Maya turned and offered Sofia a faint, quiet smile, a silent thank you in a hostile room. By now, Ava's live stream had passed 1,200 viewers, and Noah was narrating updates on X in real time. Screenshots began flooding Reddit threads, hashtags trending within minutes. Guests whispered among themselves, some openly recording, others shaking their heads in disbelief. Emily, flustered, picked up the phone and called security, murmuring into the receiver. "Front desk, now." Liam leaned on the counter, tapping his pen casually, smirking, probably a fake card. He said loud enough for nearby guests to hear. That was the moment Maya's phone buzzed. A single text from Jordan appeared on her screen. "Everything's ready. Just say the word." Maya looked up, her eyes locking on Marcus's with calm precision. "Are you absolutely sure," she asked softly, "that you want to continue this?" Marcus scoffed, mistaking her composure for weakness. "Absolutely. I run this hotel. I know who belongs here and who doesn't." Marcus didn't know. Emily didn't know. Liam didn't know. None of them knew that Maya Johnson wasn't just a guest. She wasn't there to rent the presidential suite. She owned the Starlight Pinnacle Hotel, and in exactly 9 minutes, the entire destiny of everyone behind that front desk was about to change forever. The tension in the lobby thickened as if the marble walls themselves were holding their breath. And Marcus Reynolds stood taller behind the gold-trimmed counter, his voice sharper now, fueled by arrogance and misplaced authority. "Security is on the way," he declared loudly, making sure everyone could hear, as if Maya Johnson were some intruder trespassing on sacred ground. Ava Thompson's livestream viewers jumped past 2,000, comments pouring in with outrage, disbelief, and warnings to boycott the hotel. Maya remained calm, her face unreadable, her hands resting lightly on the polished counter. But inside, her resolve was hardening. This was not the first time someone tried to humiliate her in a luxury space she rightfully belonged in, but it would be the last. "I'm asking one more time," she said evenly, her voice cutting through the murmurs of guests. "Do you intend to deny me the room I reserved and paid for?" Marcus folded his arms, his chin lifting with smug defiance. "Ma'am, I told you. You must leave. This reservation doesn't exist under your name. Maybe you misunderstood which hotel you booked. There are other locations downtown more suitable." His pause was deliberate, the implication hanging heavy in the air, and several guests exchanged shocked glances. Sofia Alvarez, the young concierge, spoke again, louder this time despite the tremor in her voice. "Marcus, the reservation is real. I double-checked. It's flagged VIP in the system, under Maya Johnson, presidential suite, 4 nights. Marcus shot her a withering glare, his jaw tightening, and he hissed, "Stay in your lane, Sofia, or you won't last the week." That was the breaking point for the crowd. A woman in a gray pantsuit stepped forward from the waiting area and raised her voice. "This is absurd. She showed you her confirmation. Are you seriously refusing to let her check in?" Marcus ignored her, motioning instead for Emily to disconnect the card reader. "Lock it down," he ordered coldly. "I'm not authorizing any fraudulent check-ins today." Emily hesitated, glancing nervously between Marcus and Maya, but obeyed, clicking the screen until the device beeped and went dark. "Reservation canceled," Marcus announced smugly, tapping the counter with his finger for emphasis. Gasps rippled across the lobby as Maya's phone buzzed again. A second message from Jordan Hayes. "Ready on my signal. Cameras rolling. Maya exhaled slowly, her composure unnerving in its steadiness. She glanced at Ava and Noah, who were now standing shoulder to shoulder at the edge of the crowd, phones raised high, narrating every moment to a growing audience that had crossed 3,000 viewers and climbing fast. Noah's voice cracked with disbelief as he spoke to his stream. Guys, they just canceled her reservation on camera, live. While Sophia here literally confirmed it's VIP, you're all watching this happen in real time. Marcus leaned over the counter again. Lowering his tone to a hiss meant only for Maya. I don't know who you think you are, but this hotel has standards, and you don't fit them. Walk out now, before this gets embarrassing for you. Maya tilted her head slightly, her expression calm but her voice carrying a quiet strength. Marcus, she said, each word deliberate. You're making a decision you will regret in less than 10 minutes. He scoffed openly, throwing his hands up. Regret? Please. I've worked here 22 years. I know every policy, every protocol, every trick scammers like you try to pull. Security will escort you out, and you can take your little audience with you. Behind him. Liam laughed under his breath, muttering, Hope they catch this on camera when she gets dragged out. Earning a sharp elbow from Emily, who was visibly pale now, her confidence unraveling as she realized the situation was spiraling beyond control. Then, from across the lobby, the heavy thud of approaching footsteps echoed against the marble. 2 security guards in black suits entered, hands resting casually on their belts, their expressions unreadable. Marcus straightened his tie and smirked at Maya, certain he'd won. Gentlemen, he said confidently, please escort this guest off the property immediately. But before the guards could move, Sophia stepped in front of Maya, blocking their path, her small frame dwarfed by their size, but her voice clear and firm. You will not touch her, Sophia said, surprising even herself. One guard glanced at the other, hesitating. Sir, he said carefully to Marcus, if her reservation's flagged VIP, we need to confirm this before. I said escort her out, Marcus snapped, his voice rising, drawing gasps from the surrounding guests. That was when Maya's phone rang, without breaking eye contact with Marcus. She answered, pressing the speaker button for everyone to hear. Jordan Hayes' voice came through loud and crisp. Maya, everything's set. The executive office has been notified. Building control is live, and all internal systems are being monitored. The security guards froze, exchanging puzzled looks. Jordan, Maya said calmly, hold for one moment. She looked back at Marcus, her expression soft, but her words sharp enough to cut steel. This is your final opportunity to correct yourself. Marcus crossed his arms again, his laugh dismissive. You can threaten me all you want, but you have no power here at that moment. Ava's livestream viewers surged past 5,000, hashtags trending on X within minutes, hashtag Starlight Scandal, hashtag Justice for Maya, hashtag Check Your Bias. Sophia's breathing quickened, Emily's hands trembled on the keyboard, and even Liam's smirk faltered slightly. Guests murmured louder now, voices rising in Maya's defense. This is outrageous. Call corporate. She has proof. But Marcus didn't listen, blind to the shifting tide around him, instead. He motioned again for the guards, his voice clipped and commanding. Remove her, now! Maya raised one hand slightly, stopping them cold. I wouldn't do that, she said softly, her tone so calm it silenced the entire lobby. Her phone buzzed again. A third message from Jordan. Marcus Reynolds, Emily Carter, Liam Nguyen, prepping termination protocols. Confirm? Maya's lips curved into the faintest trace of a smile, almost imperceptible. Not yet, she whispered, slipping the phone back into her pocket. Then she leaned forward, resting her hands on the counter, meeting Marcus's glare with quiet, unshakable authority. You've just made this very simple, she said softly. Within the next few minutes, everyone here will know exactly who I am and exactly who you are. A hush fell over the lobby. The guards lowered their hands. Sophia swallowed hard but stood her ground. Ava zoomed in closer, whispering to her live stream. Something big is about to happen. And she was right, because in 7 minutes, the power dynamic in that gilded lobby would flip entirely. And Marcus Reynolds was about to learn that the woman he mocked, the guest he tried to humiliate, wasn't just checking into the presidential suite. She owned the entire building he thought he controlled. The marble lobby was silent except for the faint hum of the chandeliers. Every pair of eyes fixed on Maya Johnson as she stood steady in front of the front desk, her hands resting lightly on the counter, her voice calm but edged with quiet steel. Marcus Reynolds still believed he was in control. His chest puffed, arms folded, his arrogance unshaken despite the growing crowd, the live stream climbing past 8,000 viewers, and the whispers rippling through guests who sensed something far bigger was unfolding before their eyes. Last warning. Ma'am, Marcus said firmly, projecting authority he didn't truly have. Leave this hotel immediately, or I will have you physically removed. Maya didn't move, didn't blink. Her silence unsettled him more than any argument could, and that quiet confidence made him double down on his mistake. Security! He barked again, gesturing sharply. But the two guards hesitated, shifting uneasily as Sofia Alvarez stepped forward, clutching her clipboard tightly, her voice shaky but louder now. Marcus, please stop. Her reservation is real. It's marked VIP in the system. I verified it twice. Marcus turned on her, his face red, spitting out each word like venom. You are one word away from losing your job. Sophia, back away now. But before Sophia could retreat, a woman in the crowd, a retired judge named Patricia Coleman, standing near the elevator, raised her voice. I've been coming here for 10 years, and I've never seen anything this disgraceful. She has a reservation, and you are humiliating her in front of everyone. You will regret this. Guests began murmuring louder, some pulling out their phones to film, others whispering about lawsuits. And Ava Thompson's live stream was now pushing 12,000 viewers, the comments exploding in real time. Name and shame this hotel. Starlight Pinnacle trending now. Don't let them get away with this. Maya finally spoke, her voice low but carrying effortlessly across the room. Marcus, look at me. He hesitated, surprised at the controlled authority in her tone, and for the first time since the confrontation began. His confidence faltered slightly as their eyes locked. You've crossed a line, she said calmly, her voice steady, deliberate, each word measured. And in a few minutes, the consequences of your actions will be very clear. Liam Nguyen scoffed from behind the desk, leaning back in his chair, muttering just loud enough to be heard. Consequences? She won't even make it past the lobby. Emily Carter shot him a warning glance, her face pale, hands trembling as she pretended to check the reservation screen even though Marcus had locked the system minutes earlier. Maya pulled out her phone and pressed a single button, putting the call on speaker. Jordan, she said softly. Are you still there? Jordan Hayes' voice came through loud and calm, projected for the entire lobby to hear. Yes, Maya, systems are ready. Executive authorization is confirmed. We have full visibility. The guards exchanged nervous glances, and Sophia's eyes widened slightly, realizing something critical was happening beneath the surface. Marcus frowned, trying to mask his uncertainty. What systems? What authorization? Maya ignored him, her focus steady as she continued speaking to Jordan. Hold for my signal. Then she looked back at Marcus, tilting her head slightly, almost curious. Marcus, I'll give you one last chance. Apologize, reinstate my reservation, and this ends quietly. He laughed, a short, sharp sound filled with contempt, and shook his head. You must think you can intimidate me. Do you have any idea who I am? I run this hotel." Maya's expression didn't change, but her voice hardened. "No. Marcus, you manage this building. There's a difference." A ripple ran through the crowd as her words landed. A subtle shift in energy that Marcus didn't yet understand. But Ava caught it instantly, whispering to her live stream. "Oh my God, she's holding back something big." Noah, standing beside her, leaned in and said into his microphone, "Guys, this is about to explode. Don't look away." Guests were now openly siding with Maya, muttering phrases like "unacceptable," "call corporate," and "we'll cancel our memberships," while others began tagging news outlets on social media. Hashtags like #StarlightScandal and #JusticeForMaya were trending nationally within minutes. Marcus noticed the security guard stepping back slightly, hesitating as the crowd's energy shifted, and it infuriated him. "I said remove her!" he barked again, pointing toward the doors. But neither guard moved, their eyes flicking between Maya, Sophia, and the growing audience. Maya raised one hand slightly, her gesture subtle but commanding, and spoke softly. "Nobody touches me." Her tone was so calm, so absolute, that it froze the guards in place. Liam snorted derisively. "Wow, someone's watched too many movies." But even his sarcasm couldn't mask the nervous edge in his voice. Sophia took a step closer to Maya, her voice firmer now. "Marcus, you need to stop. You don't understand who she is." But Marcus snapped at her again, louder this time. "I don't care who she thinks she is. This is my hotel, and I decide who belongs here." Maya slowly shook her head, almost pitying him, and glanced at her phone. A fourth message from Jordan appeared on the screen. "CEO confirmation package prepped. Live in 90 seconds if triggered." She tapped the phone once and slipped it back into her pocket. The livestream chat erupted as Ava whispered to Noah, "She's about to drop something huge." In that moment, Jordan's voice came through the speaker again, steady and precise. "Maya, confirmation sequence is armed. Say the word." Maya stepped forward, her presence quiet yet commanding, and looked Marcus directly in the eye. "You've humiliated me in front of my guests," she said softly. "You've called me a fraud, canceled my reservation, and mocked me publicly." Her words slowed, each syllable deliberate, her voice resonant in the charged silence. "What you failed to realize is that I built this." The lobby froze. Marcus blinked, his smirk faltering for the first time. "Built what?" Maya took out her phone again, tapped once, and the large digital display behind the front desk, normally cycling through promotional videos of luxury suites, shifted abruptly to reveal an image that silenced the entire room, a high-resolution corporate structure chart, the Starlight Hospitality logo at the top, and beneath it, in bold white letters, CEO Maya Johnson. Gasps erupted. Phones shot higher into the air. Ava's live stream viewers spiked past 20,000, and Sophia covered her mouth with both hands, whispering, "Oh my God!" Marcus staggered back a half step, his mouth opening and closing without sound, while Emily lowered her gaze, shame washing over her as the reality sank in. Liam dropped his pen onto the counter, the smirk gone completely, his face pale as chalk. Jordan's voice came through one final time, calm and undeniable. "All access confirmed. Maya Johnson, Chief Executive Officer, Starlight Hospitality Group, owner of 82 properties nationwide, including the Starlight Pinnacle, for several long, breathless seconds. No one spoke. The only sound was the rapid clicking of cameras and the hum of Ava's phone as comments poured in faster than she could read them. Finally, Maya broke the silence, her tone soft but edged with finality. "Now, Marcus, do you still want to escort me out of my own hotel?" The moment the giant digital display flashed CEO Maya Johnson, The entire lobby erupted in a wave of gasps, murmurs, and stunned silence so thick you could hear the faint hum of the chandeliers above. Marcus Reynolds froze, his hands gripping the edge of the counter, his face draining of color as he tried to process what had just unfolded in front of hundreds of witnesses and over 25,000 viewers watching Ava Thompson's live stream in real time. Emily Carter lowered her head, her breathing shaky, whispering something inaudible to herself, while Liam Nguyen stared blankly at the corporate chart on the massive screen, his smirk gone, replaced by the unmistakable terror of someone realizing their career had just imploded. Sofia Alvarez pressed her hand to her mouth, tears filling her eyes as relief washed over her. She had defended Maya when no one else dared, and now the entire world knew the truth. Maya stood still, unflinching, her presence commanding yet calm, her voice controlled as she finally broke the silence. "This," she said softly, gesturing toward the towering display, "is my building. This is my company. And what happened here today will never happen again." The crowd erupted into hushed murmurs. Phones raised higher as Ava zoomed in on Maya's face, her live stream now pushing 32,000 viewers, Reddit threads exploding, hashtags climbing to the top of X trends across the country. Marcus stammered, his voice cracking as he attempted to recover his authority. This can't be right. The system, it must be hacked. That display isn't official." Before he could finish, Jordan Hayes' voice came through the speakerphone in Maya's hand, clear and sharp, echoing through the lobby. "Marcus Reynolds, your employment with Starlight Hospitality is hereby terminated, effective immediately. Your access has been revoked." As if on cue, Marcus's ID badge beeped twice and flashed red, the security system locking him out instantly, and the collective gasp from the crowd sent a shockwave through the marble atrium. Emily stepped back, trembling, clutching her lanyard as if holding on to the last thread of her job, while Liam cursed under his breath, his bravado evaporating as his phone buzzed with a security alert confirming the same fate awaited him. Maya's gaze shifted slowly between the three of them, her tone even but edged with cold precision. "Marcus, Emily, Liam, you didn't just make a mistake. You humiliated me in front of my guests. You violated company policy, and you reinforced everything I've been working years to dismantle. Today, your choices cost you your jobs." Marcus opened his mouth to protest, but no words came. The power dynamic had shifted so completely, so irreversibly, that for the first time in decades, he was no longer in control of the space he thought he ruled. One of the guests in the crowd, an older man in a tailored Navy suit, called out, "That's justice right there," sparking a ripple of applause that spread across the lobby. Ava's live stream chat exploded, comments flying faster than they could be read. "CEO fired him on the spot. This is historic. She's rewriting hospitality right now." Maya raised one hand slightly, calming the growing energy in the room, her voice steady but resolute as she addressed the crowd. "To every guest here today, you should never have to prove your worth to be treated with respect. What happened today ends here, and it ends now." The applause grew louder, mixed with shouts of support, as Sofia stepped closer to Maya, tears streaming down her face, whispering, "Thank you. Thank you for not letting them treat us like this anymore." Maya placed a hand gently on Sofia's shoulder and smiled faintly. "No, Sofia, thank you for standing up when no one else would." Then, turning back toward Jordan on speaker, Maya said calmly, "Execute Protocol 3. Company-wide audit. Effective immediately," Jordan replied without hesitation. "Confirmed. System access suspended at this property, and audit orders sent to all 82 locations nationwide." The lobby erupted again, gasps from employees mixing with cheers from guests. As everyone realized the scale of what was unfolding, within seconds, the hotel's internal dashboard refreshed, and the entire front desk system went into lockdown mode, cutting off unauthorized access and freezing reservations under review. Emily began sobbing quietly, whispering apologies through tears. I didn't mean to. Marcus told me to cancel it. But Maya's expression remained composed, her voice soft but firm. Emily, you chose to follow without question, and that choice has consequences. Liam slammed his hands on the counter, muttering angrily, "This is insane." But as he turned, he saw two senior compliance officers approaching, escorted by security, carrying sealed termination documents, their expressions unreadable. Jordan's voice echoed once more. Termination approvals executed, accounts closed, access revoked. All three badges, Marcus, Emily, Liam, lit up red simultaneously, a quiet electronic chime signaling the official end of their employment. Gasps filled the room, a few guests clapping, others shaking their heads in disbelief at the swiftness of Maya's response. Ava's livestream viewer count soared past 50,000. Headlines already appearing on news feeds. CEO humiliated in her own hotel fires staff live in Chicago. Starlight Hospitality faces reckoning. Video hits 1M views in under an hour. Sophia glanced up at the giant display, which now showed a message Maya had triggered remotely. Effective immediately. Starlight Hospitality has zero tolerance for discrimination. Every guest is family. Phones snapped pictures. Guests whispered about lawsuits, and journalists started arriving outside the glass doors, tipped off by Ava's viral stream. Marcus, pale and trembling, stepped forward one last time, voice hoarse. "Please, I've been here 22 years. This can't be the end." But Maya's tone remained firm, her words final. "Marcus, 22 years should have taught you one thing. Respect is the foundation of hospitality. You failed that today. You're done." Tears welled in Emily's eyes. Liam shoved his hands into his pockets, and the guards quietly escorted them toward the exit as cameras flashed from every corner of the lobby. Maya turned back to the crowd, lifting her chin slightly, her voice steady but warm. "To our guests, I promise you this. Change starts now. Every property, every policy, every employee will be held accountable, including me. We will be better." A loud cheer erupted, filling the atrium with renewed energy, and Sophia, still shaking, whispered, "You just changed everything." Maya glanced at her, smiling faintly. "No. Sophia, we just did." Outside the glass doors, the first wave of reporters gathered, microphones ready, flashes popping against the setting sun, and inside the lobby, 50,000 live stream viewers became 100,000, the video spreading across platforms like wildfire. And yet, even amid the chaos, Maya's expression remained composed, her focus already shifting to the next step, because firing 3 employees was only the beginning. The lobby buzzed like a living organism, energy shifting from shock to empowerment as Maya Johnson stood firmly at the center, her calm presence anchoring the chaos around her, while Ava Thompson's live stream surged past 150,000 viewers. Headlines exploding across national news outlets within minutes. Phones pinged with alerts. Reddit threads topped trending charts, and hashtags like hashtag Starlight Scandal, hashtag Justice for Maya, and hashtag Change Starts here dominated every platform. Maya raised her hand slightly, and the noise subsided instantly, her voice steady yet resonant as she addressed both the guests in front of her and the millions now watching online. "What happened here today is unacceptable," she said firmly, her tone carrying both authority and empathy. "But this isn't about me. It's about every person who has ever walked into one of our properties and felt invisible, unwelcome, or unworthy. That ends now." Applause broke out across the atrium, some guests tearing up, others nodding solemnly, while Sofia Alvarez wiped her cheeks, standing just a step behind Maya as if to absorb the strength radiating from her. Then Maya turned toward her phone, still on speaker with Jordan Hayes, and said calmly, "Activate Phase 2, immediate internal investigation, full audit of Starlight Pinnacle and all 82 properties." Jordan's voice came through sharp and precise. "Confirmed. All property-level systems are syncing to headquarters. Compliance officers deployed, AI guest feedback analysis initiated within seconds. The hotel's entire network locked into audit mode, screens flashing as centralized control rerouted every reservation, incident report, and recorded complaint directly to corporate headquarters. Employees gasped as access permissions shifted before their eyes, and several guests murmured in awe, watching the hotel's infrastructure respond in real time. Patricia Coleman, the retired judge, stepped forward, her voice steady but emotional. "Ms. Johnson, I've been staying here for years, and this is the first time I've seen someone at your level take real action. You're making history today." Maya smiled faintly, inclining her head respectfully. "Judge Coleman, this is long overdue, and it's just the beginning." Sophia stepped forward, glancing nervously at the crowd before speaking softly. "Ms. Johnson, there are complaints, a lot of them, hidden in the system." Maya turned to her, calm but focused. "Bring them up." Sophia tapped on her tablet, pulling up the internal portal, and a collective gasp rippled across the lobby as she revealed dozens of suppressed incident reports. Guests turned away without cause, wrongful overcharges, discriminatory notes flagged and buried by management. Marcus Reynolds, now seated off to the side under guard, buried his face in his hands as the depth of the misconduct came into focus. Ava zoomed in on the screen for her live stream audience, and the chat exploded instantly. "They've been covering this up for years. She's exposing everything live. This is bigger than we thought." Maya scanned the reports, her jaw tightening slightly, then turned back toward her phone. "Jordan, elevate Sophia Alvarez to Director of Guest Services effective immediately, with full oversight of property compliance." Sophia froze, her eyes wide. "Ma'am, I don't know what to say." Maya placed a hand gently on her shoulder, her voice warm. "Say yes, Sophia. You've earned it." Sophia nodded tearfully as the crowd applauded, and Jordan confirmed over the speaker. Promotion processed and effective immediately. Across social media, clips of the moment went viral within minutes. Ava's stream alone hitting 200,000 live viewers and trending globally under hashtag Maya Johnson. While major networks began requesting interviews, Maya turned back to the guests, her tone softer now. "I owe all of you an apology. This company was built on the promise of hospitality, and today, we failed to keep that promise. But failure can be the spark for change, and I intend to lead that change personally." The crowd erupted into cheers, and several guests came forward to share their own stories. A business traveler ignored during check-in, a family charged double for the same room, a veteran humiliated for asking for assistance. Maya listened to each one intently, her gaze steady, her empathy genuine, and Ava's live stream chat filled with messages of solidarity, people across the country sharing similar experiences in real time. Reporters were now swarming outside, camera crews pushing against the glass doors as security struggled to maintain order. And yet Maya remained unshaken, her focus locked on the mission she had silently carried for years, rebuilding trust from the ground up. Jordan's voice came through once more. "Maya, I'm getting reports from 6 other properties showing patterns identical to this one. Do you want full disclosure pushed live?" Maya hesitated briefly, then nodded, her tone resolute. "Yes, if we're going to fix this. We do it openly. No more secrets. Within seconds." The Starlight Hospitality homepage updated globally, publishing a statement signed by Maya herself. "We failed today. We will do better tomorrow." Effective immediately, Starlight adopts zero tolerance for discrimination and commits to transparency at every level. Phones buzzed across the lobby as the notification hit inboxes worldwide, and Ava read it aloud to her audience, her voice breaking slightly. She's putting everything on the line. Maya turned back to the crowd, her words carrying weight and clarity. This is no longer just about a hotel. It's about respect. Dignity doesn't come with a price tag, and hospitality is not a privilege. It's a promise. The applause that followed thundered across the marble walls, and Sophia, standing beside her, whispered quietly, "You didn't just fire 3 people, you just changed an entire industry." Maya smiled faintly but said nothing, her eyes scanning the crowd of guests, employees, and cameras, fully aware that what began as a 9-minute confrontation in a Chicago lobby had now ignited a nationwide reckoning. And she was only getting started. 3 days after the explosive incident at the Starlight Pinnacle Hotel, the fallout had reached every corner of the hospitality industry, and Maya Johnson stood at the center of it all, unshaken, unwavering, and ready to lead the fight for change. What began as a humiliating confrontation in a Chicago hotel lobby had evolved into a nationwide movement, with clips of Ava Thompson's live stream surpassing 50 million views and trending globally under hashtags like hashtag Maya Johnson, hashtag Justice for Guests, and hashtag Starlight Reform. Major news networks ran the footage on a continuous loop, headlines reading, "CEO fired staff live, hospitality industry faces reckoning, inside Starlight's headquarters." However, not everyone celebrated Maya's decisive actions. A faction of senior executives, many loyal to former regional director David Coleman, pushed back hard, calling her response reckless and warning that firing employees live could damage investor confidence. Maya sat at the head of the glass-walled boardroom, flanked by Jordan Hayes and Sofia Alvarez, who now carried her new title proudly as Director of Guest Services. Around the table, the tension was thick, but Maya's voice cut through it like a blade. "We're not here to protect egos," she said calmly, her hands folded on the table. "We're here to protect guests. If that makes anyone uncomfortable, this isn't the company for you." Silence fell, broken only when Carla Mitchell, Starlight's legal compliance director, slid a report across the polished oak table. "The audit of all 82 properties is complete," she announced, her voice steady but tinged with gravity. "Maya, what we found, it's worse than we expected." Maya flipped through the pages quickly, her jaw tightening as incident after incident revealed systemic failures. Discriminatory notes buried deep in employee logs, wrongful cancellations flagged and ignored, hidden fees charged disproportionately to minority guests, and internal reports silenced by regional managers. "How long has this been going on?" Maya asked quietly, her tone low but heavy with restrained fury. Carla hesitated, glancing at the executives across the table before answering. "Years, possibly decades." Sophia, sitting beside Maya, covered her mouth in disbelief, whispering, "No wonder so many complaints never reached us." Jordan leaned forward, tapping the screen of his tablet. "Media pressure is mounting. Investors are watching. If we don't lead on reform, we'll be forced into it by regulators." Maya looked up, her eyes blazing with determination. "Then we lead, effective immediately. We're implementing the Starlight Equity Protocol, a zero-tolerance anti-discrimination policy, mandatory diversity and empathy training, and full transparency in guest incident reporting." The room erupted into murmurs, a few executives protesting quietly, but Maya raised a hand, silencing them. "This is not optional. Every property, every manager, every employee will be held accountable, starting with us, within hours." An official statement from Starlight Hospitality went live. Signed by Maya herself, "Hospitality begins with respect. Today, We commit to rebuilding trust with every guest, without exception, across social media. The announcement went viral, praised by civil rights groups and advocacy organizations nationwide. While major competitors scrambled to respond publicly, guests shared their own stories of mistreatment under the hashtag #MyStarlightStory, turning the incident into a catalyst for broader change. While regulators began requesting access to Starlight's internal findings, Maya spent long nights at headquarters with Jordan and Sophia, personally reviewing guest feedback and restructuring the complaint escalation process from the ground up. She ordered the creation of an independent equity review board composed of third-party auditors, industry experts, and former guests to ensure accountability. "If we're going to claim transparency," she told Jordan one night, staring out over the Chicago skyline, "we can't just say it, we have to prove it." Meanwhile, Ava Thompson and Noah Brooks, whose live stream sparked the movement, were invited to headquarters, where Maya thanked them personally before announcing the launch of the Starlight Guest Advocacy Program, a platform designed to empower guests to report issues directly to corporate without interference from local management. The announcement drew praise from consumer protection agencies, but it also brought intense scrutiny from the financial sector. Analysts warned of short-term stock volatility, and internal memos revealed concerns from longtime investors who feared the reforms would cut into profits. Maya addressed these fears head-on during an emergency shareholder call, her tone steady and confident. "This isn't a cost, it's an investment, in dignity, in equity, and in the future of this company. If you disagree, I understand, but Starlight is moving forward with or without you." The call went viral, clips circulating widely as business leaders debated Maya's bold stance. Within 2 weeks, Starlight's stock dipped by 12%, but within a month, bookings surged by 25% as loyal guests and new customers alike flocked to support the company's vision of inclusivity and fairness. Across the country, hospitality giants scrambled to follow suit, rushing to implement reforms of their own, and industry publications dubbed Maya Johnson the CEO who changed hospitality forever. Yet even amid growing praise, Maya kept her focus grounded, refusing to rest until every layer of systemic bias within Starlight's operations had been uprooted. "We're not done," she told Sophia quietly one evening after a 14-hour day, her voice soft but resolute. "This isn't just about fixing a hotel chain. It's about setting a new standard for how people are treated, everywhere." And as she stood in her office overlooking the Chicago skyline, Ava's viral video still climbing toward 70 million views, Maya knew this was no longer just a company reform. It was a cultural shift, and Starlight Hospitality was now leading the way. 3 months after the explosive confrontation at the Starlight Pinnacle Hotel, the transformation was undeniable, and the entire hospitality industry now looked to Maya Johnson as the woman who had rewritten its future. What began as a humiliating moment in a Chicago lobby had grown into a nationwide movement for dignity and equity, fueled by Ava Thompson's viral live stream, which had surpassed 100 million views and been archived in business schools as a case study on leadership and accountability. Starlight Hospitality's 82 properties were unrecognizable from the inside out, redesigned under the newly implemented Starlight Equity Protocol, which required zero-tolerance anti-discrimination policies, anonymous guest feedback systems, and third-party audits conducted quarterly to ensure absolute transparency. At the flagship Starlight Pinnacle, the grand marble atrium now displayed a gold-plated plaque near the entrance engraved with the words Maya had spoken that day. This space belongs to every guest. Guests stopped to take photos, posting them online with hashtags like #MayaChangedStarlight and #HospitalityForAll, while Sophia Alvarez, promoted to general manager of the flagship property, led staff meetings emphasizing empathy, accountability, and integrity as the core values of their service. Employee turnover dropped by nearly 40%, Customer satisfaction hit record highs, and bookings skyrocketed as loyal guests returned and new travelers sought out the company that had become synonymous with fairness and respect. Beyond Starlight's walls, Maya's influence rippled through the entire industry. Competing hotel chains rushed to implement reforms of their own. Consumer protection agencies introduced new guidelines inspired by Starlight's transparency measures, and advocacy groups cited Maya's actions as a model for corporate responsibility nationwide. Invitations poured in for her to speak at Harvard Business School, the National Hospitality Summit, and congressional hearings on anti-discrimination practices. But Maya remained grounded, choosing instead to focus on building sustainable change rather than basking in personal accolades. At the Starlight Innovation Summit held in Chicago, Maya announced the launch of Starlight Forward, a multi-million-dollar initiative funding scholarships for hospitality students from underrepresented backgrounds, grants for independent audits of competing chains, and investments in AI-driven equity monitoring technology designed to detect bias before it reached guests. Standing on stage beside her, Sophia delivered a keynote address, her voice steady and confident as she shared her journey from a young concierge silenced by fear to a national leader in equity-driven hospitality. Drawing a standing ovation from hundreds of industry executives, Ava Thompson and Noah Brooks, whose live stream had sparked the global reckoning, were honored as Starlight ambassadors, helping launch a guest advocacy network that connected travelers worldwide, empowering them to report discrimination in real time. Meanwhile, David Coleman, the former regional director who had shielded Marcus Reynolds for years, was exposed through the company-wide audit and permanently banned from holding executive positions in the hospitality sector after regulators uncovered patterns of misconduct across multiple properties. Maya's refusal to bury the truth earned Starlight unprecedented trust with guests and industry watchdogs alike, and bookings at all locations surpassed pre-scandal levels, marking the company's most profitable quarter in its history. But for Maya, it was never about numbers, it was about people. In an emotional interview with Good Morning America, she reflected on her journey. "I built Starlight to create spaces where dignity is assumed, not earned, where respect isn't a privilege, but a promise. That day in the lobby reminded me how far we still have to go, but also how powerful change can be when we choose courage over silence." Her words trended instantly, resonating with millions who had faced similar experiences of being unseen or dismissed. That evening, Maya walked through the renovated Starlight Pinnacle lobby, pausing beneath the crystal chandeliers where it all began, watching as a diverse group of guests checked in seamlessly under Sophia's leadership. Nearby, Ava and Noah were filming a new update for their followers, capturing the atmosphere of progress, pride, and redemption for the first time in years. Maya allowed herself a quiet smile, knowing the fight was far from over but proud that Starlight had become a national symbol of inclusion, transparency, and justice. As she looked up at the plaque by the entrance one last time, her words etched in gold, she whispered softly to herself, "We kept the promise." And outside, across the skyline of Chicago, Starlight's beacon glowed brighter than ever, a reminder that one moment of courage can ignite an entire movement. Thank you so much for watching this powerful story. If you believe dignity matters, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next video. Tell us in the comments where you're watching from. We love hearing your stories. Together, we can make these voices louder and inspire change. See you in the next video.